This magical girl transformation is complete. Hello and welcome to another Shojo Sunday. On here, we are looking at magical girls and just the impacts of Madoka Magica, how it's different from other magical girl animes and stuff like that. So, like, enjoy. So I do have a script of Shojo Sunday. So we're talking about Madoka Magica. Puelli. It's called Puelli Maho or something like that. It's Puelli Madoka Magica, but the entire fandom knows it as Madoka Magica anyways. So there's that. This anime is really nostalgic, but it's really dark. That's why I'm covering Kengo's eyes. It's nostalgic, but it's really dark. Do you want a contract? Says Kaiba. So this cat, sorry about this. The cat, I do not trust the cat. I do not trust. It's evil. It's evil. I keep telling people that, like, it is evil. I keep saying that all the time. It's an evil cat. If you don't like dark and scary stuff, don't watch it. It is dark and scary, but it's more of a psychological sense of dark and scary. So there's like the dark and scary, but like it's not too dark and it's not too scary, but it's like it's dark within the realms of psychological horror, I guess. There is a little bit of gore, spoiler warnings for this anime if you haven't seen it. Would recommend watching if you're like really into like psychological horror or anything to do with magical girls or anything like that. It's very spooky. It's spooky in some places, but like not really. But it's more, what is this? What's happening? Why is my favourite character dead? That kind of thing. So there's that. I wasn't expecting Madoka Magica to be a horror or like within the lines of psychological horror. It did surprise me at first, looking back on it. So this is a good start to the Shojo Sunday for Halloween. Unfortunately, yeah. It starts off with a girl called Kaname, so me. So I'm dressing up as Madoka for this Shojo Sunday. I would suit Homura more because I wear glasses, but like, I also like my cute little, I like my cute little magical girls as well. So like, that's my kind of vibe. So the cat creature is called Kaiba. The cat, so it like forms contracts with people, like forcing them to be magical girls. Like you got to grant a wish to become a magical girl and like do your duties within the magical girl worlds. It's like a world within their timeline that's like really dark and like dreamlike. That's how I can explain it. There's some bits that are like a nightmare realm or like something from your nightmares that's like very, very, I want to say dark. So there's like a little bit of darkness here and there. So there's that. So their job in general for the magical girls to do is to fight the witches. So like the witches are like, they're like a threat to their kingdom, I think. So they're a threat to their kingdom. The job is for the magical girls to like kill all the witches and stuff happens. There's like other girls like Sayaka, you've got Homura, you've got Mami, you've got Sakura. So like all these 5 girls, they all have magical girl powers. Obviously had a contract with Kaiba, that kind of thing. There is a law within this. So like, when the soul gems are used up by magical girls, sometimes they can turn into like witches, and sometimes the witches can't like fully control their power. Whereas if you use all your power as a magical girl within the world that you're fighting in, etc., if it gets tainted, you die. And if you get destroyed by a creature within the magical world, you also die. So a lot of death this series. I can't fathom this. It's meant to be a magical girl anime, but there is a lot of death within it. So like there is a bit of lore behind it. So there's that. So a lot of the witches within the world are also based on mythology and stuff. So like, I think Sayaka's like witch is based on, I think it's Poseidon. I could be wrong, but it's like based with like the water gods. So like Sayaka is based with the water and based on a mermaid. Homura's magical girl power is basically time manipulation. Basically, Homura is a time traveler, and she uses the time travel to like try and save Madoka within like the timelines from like trying not to destroy herself within the magical girl realm, if that makes sense. But later on in the anime series, Homura finds out the identity of Kyube. So Kyube's job is, they're called incubators. So it's like they serve their purpose with like, I believe it goes back to Egyptian times and like a little bit of lore, like medieval times before that and more. And they serve girls all around the world, and they basically transform into magical girls. Again, that's like within the realm, within the modern time. But Homura is a time traveler, so she's come from the future, but she's come back to the past to always save Madoka, if that makes sense. A thing I want to mention as well is Mami's death and how iconic it is. So Mami's death was pretty much the first death that's introduced within the series. It is brutal. It's a brutal death, and there's not, Mami ain't coming back. She ain't coming back. She dead. So that was brutal. I also want to talk about the Doomed Yuri. I call it Doomed Yuri because like the writers were like, it's not official, da-la-la-la. Obviously, like I really love Homura and Madoka's, I would say French, what was it? Would you say friendship or relationship? I think it's more of a relationship more than anything. That's what I see it as. But the fandom is like a little conflicted of like, we don't know whether this is a relationship or a friendship. It can be however you want it to be. As long as you're not harming anyone, you can predict it as much as you want. You can see it as either a friendship or a relationship. It won't bother anybody as long as you're not harming them, if that makes sense. For me, I see it as a relationship. I see it as Doomed Yuri. But like both their friendship and relationship kind of work within each other. It's just, I also think like how would it work with Homura time traveling, and how would it work out, etc. I mean, it could work out, you never know. The finale, it was so good. It was so good. The finale of it was really good. Obviously Homura and Madoka get emotional about their existence. Now the wish that Madoka wanted to grant was, it was like an extinction wish. So like the witches would be extinct, like the witches wouldn't get born. But there's like another threat that's happening in their world where they're like fighting zombies. They're fighting zombies and monsters in their world. Whereas the witch's world doesn't really exist now that Madoka's granted that wish. If that makes sense. So like, now that Madoka's granted the wish, there's no witches anymore. So like Homura and Kaibe actually team up and like fight monsters and stuff, which is kind of cool, to be honest. I wasn't expecting that kind of ending to happen. I was expecting a bit more from it. I was like expecting like a bit more writing for the end, but like it was pretty perfect, to be honest. And I do want to see more of it. Like I do want to see like more continuation on, but if it ends, it ends. You can't like continue it on. Another thing I want to talk about is the Madoka movies. So there is a few Madoka movies. There is one actually that's out. I think it's like near the cinema or something. I don't know. I don't think it'll show in my local cinema because Madoka Magica is too niche to show to the just the main general public, whereas like Demon Slayer is like more popular, it's got more popularity, whereas Madoka is a bit more niche. So there's that. I'll probably end up finding it online, to be honest. I did like the first movie. I did watch the first movie of their. It's like kind of like a recap on what happened in the anime. So there's that. That is my Shojo Sunday officially over and done with. I'd like to hear your thoughts about Madoka Magica in the comments, and I'd like to have like a little talk about Madoka Magica in general. So this has been a fun Halloween special of Madoka Magica. I hope you've enjoyed. I think my next shoujo anime we're looking at is Kamisama Kiss, which I'm looking forward to because I haven't watched Kamisama Kiss since like high school. So it'll be fun to revisit and enjoy it through my perspective. And yeah, it's very silly, very silly. It has a fox boy in it. So there is a bit of lore with that. And there's me over and done with. I hope you enjoyed this Shojo Sunday. This is me over and out. If you have any other magical girl recommendations for me to have a look at and enjoy, please leave suggestions in the comments, because I'd like to check out a few more magical girl animes and stuff like that. So that's me over and done. I hope to see you in the next Shojo Sunday. Bye!